So, okay. Part of the reason, so I think people were kind of like, what's PP doing? Is he going to Genesis? Is he not going? I did say that I was not going to Genesis. I thought about it for a little bit, and I decided I wasn't going to go. I almost changed my mind again, like a week and a half before Genesis, because I realized when Gigi was going to do like a bigger production before the start of Genesis when it was in January, it was going to be like more days, more content, and I was going to be like, oh. And I thought we were going to do that again for this pre-Genesis, but when I found out it was a lot easier, I thought, oh, well, maybe I'll stay for Friday. The Friday of Genesis. I ended up changing my mind for reasons that aren't relevant to this story. But I was still glad that I was going to end up going, even though I ended up getting a little nervous about it. Thank you, Beep, for the 18, by the way. So I didn't tell anyone that I was gonna fly out, because people would have said, oh, well, you said you're not going, but you're actually going. You just lied to us. And I was like, I couldn't, like, I was like, I'm going to California and I'm going to close to Genesis and I'm doing stuff, but I'm not going to Genesis. Like, no, who believes that? Right? It sounds dumb, but that's what I did. It's what I did, and it's my story. I'm sticking to it. So I get there, and I met a lot of people. I'll skip over some of this, but I met a lot of people I'd worked with for content, and it was a good time. And I actually think I stayed in the same hotel that I stayed in for Genesis 7 2 years ago, which was weird. Like, I felt like it didn't even feel like deja vu. It was like I was getting a redo on things. It was very strange. Anyway, most of what happened Wednesday, which is the day that picture was taken, was the day that that I was mainly there for, all that stuff, the Wednesday before Genesis. We were at the Chase Center, where the Warriors play and they train and so on and so forth. The main reason I was there, and we were all there, was because the Golden Guardians wanted us to have like high-profile pictures taken, headshots, shots from all sides, different expressions, emotions, stuff with us together, stuff like that. And they used the photography team that actually took the pictures of the Warriors. And I want to tell a little story, but I'm not going to. Anyway, so that took a little while. It took like a few hours to get all that done. And in the meantime, we were just hanging out, goofing off, vlogging. You'll probably see that stuff on the GG channel, I hope, because some of that stuff was really funny. And we were just making dumb jokes the whole time. It was like a more fun version of us hanging out in Discord. For anyone just coming in, I'm talking about my not Genesis trip, where I'm in San Francisco and we're at the Chase Center. Zane really wanted a setup so he could keep grinding, and he ended up taking that setup to his hotel room where he was staying for Genesis. So they got him a setup, and that's why there was a setup there, because that wasn't initially planned. Now, if anyone's wondering why in the midst of all of this AMSA is there, that's a fantastic question, because it didn't make any sense. Toph told AMSA to come there because he was going to house him, and some scheduling thing, or Toph was like, it'll be fine. Luckily, we didn't have to kick AMSA out, and we were able to get him through the security, but that was strange. Anyway, AMSA was there, which was cool. I asked him questions about Yoshi Dittos, because I was like, who else am I going to talk to about Yoshi Dittos? And I just asked him a bunch of questions, and luckily he answered them. He could have just said no, but it was nice of him. I watched some people play friendlies, and the only other thing to really talk about is you saw the picture of me playing friendlies. So I was in a rotation with Zane and AMSA. So it was the three of us in a rotation. So we're looking at 2 current top 10 players in the world and your boy sitting down on a setup on a nice CRT, which Zane did say felt different than online. I'll quote him on that. But the 3 of us were sitting down and playing. and I know people are going to ask who won more, so I'll tell you right now, Amsa and Zane won more than I did. Also, once Zane got going, he won more than Amsa in the friendlies they played, which I think was indicative of the tournament set. That all being said, I think there were very interesting things about the games I played with those two. I'm not gonna get into it here because it would probably sound weird, but I think it was really fun. I mostly played Falco against Zane because I wanted it to be as difficult as possible. I wanted to feel how strong he was. And then the last hour or so I was really burnt out, so it was an absolute wash. But had a lot of really good matches with both of them, which was really fun. Wish some of that could have been recorded, but it was pretty cool. No, we didn't play doubles. So, is there anything else I want to say about it? And then we took a tour of the Chase Center, which was basically like, we saw a bunch of different angles of the stadium, and then there was a lot of like, hey, this is where rich people hang out. We were like, okay. And that was the Chase Center. And then I went home. I think that was my Genesis trip. And then I freaked out about none wearing my tag. So yeah, that was my not Genesis trip in so many words.